It's been years since Russia first invaded Ukraine, and while the world watches the devastation unfold, one question remains. Why is there still no serious peace agreement? Every few months we hear talks about peace negotiations, but behind closed doors not much is really happening. At first it seemed like the world was pushing for peace, but now, it feels like some countries are dragging their feet, and for good reason. Economic sanctions and military aid have complicated the situation. Meanwhile, the humanitarian crisis continues to worsen. People around the world are calling for an end to the conflict, but analysts argue that the path to peace is more complex than it appears. History has shown us that lasting peace requires more than just negotiations. On paper, everyone says they want peace. In reality, peace isn't profitable. Countries like the UK, France, and others publicly call for negotiations. But behind the scenes, they're still sending weapons, funding armies, and fueling the fire. War creates big business for weapon manufacturers. It strengthens alliances. And politically, it gives governments a distraction from their own failures at home. The economic impact of war extends beyond just the defense sector. It influences global markets, drives technological advancements, and reshapes international relations. Yet, amidst all this, the human cost is often overlooked, with countless lives disrupted and communities destroyed. Politics are deeply tangled into this war. Countries are taking sides not because they believe in justice, but because it benefits their agendas. Some leaders fear that if peace comes too quickly, their influence in the region would shrink. Others worry that Russia winning would embarrass NATO, something they can't afford to happen. Economic interests also play a significant role, with sanctions and trade agreements adding layers of complexity. Meanwhile, the human cost continues to rise, with millions displaced and in need of aid. Honestly, at the current rate, it doesn't look good. Unless something drastic changes, this war could drag on for years. Russia is slowly grinding down Ukrainian resistance. If talks don't happen soon, there's a very real chance Russia could take over the entire country. And the longer the fighting continues, the weaker Ukraine becomes, and the harder it will be to negotiate anything. International efforts have been made to mediate, but so far they've had limited success. The humanitarian crisis is worsening, with millions displaced and in need of urgent aid. Economic sanctions have been imposed, but their effectiveness in stopping the conflict remains uncertain. Now you might think former US President Donald Trump could help push peace talks. After all, he said he could end the war in 24 hours if he were in charge. But Trump's reliability is shaky at best. One minute he's talking about helping Ukraine, the next he's cozying up to Russia. Plus, Trump is now busy starting trade wars with tariffs against countries like China. These massive economic moves are going to eat up his attention, leaving little focus for peace negotiations. Furthermore, his controversial statements often create more tension. This unpredictability makes it hard for allies and adversaries alike to trust his commitments. In the end, Trump's involvement might complicate the peace process rather than facilitate it. Sadly, unless global powers really push for genuine negotiations, this war will just keep dragging on. And every day that passes, more lives are lost, more cities are destroyed, and peace gets pushed even further away. It's time to face the truth. Some leaders want the war to continue, some industries profit from it, and politics, not humanity, are calling the shots. The humanitarian crisis is escalating, with millions displaced and in dire need of assistance. The economic repercussions are felt worldwide, affecting global markets and causing inflation. The environmental damage is also severe, with ecosystems being destroyed and pollution levels rising. The world must come together to demand an end to this conflict and work towards lasting peace. With passion. Peace isn't going to come from fake speeches or empty promises. It's going to take real pressure from the public, from people like you demanding change. If you believe it's time for peace, spread the word. Talk about the truth behind the politics. The louder we are, the harder it is for leaders to ignore us. Like, share and subscribe for more real talk. And drop a comment. Do you think peace talks will ever happen? Or will this war drag on forever? The situation in Ukraine is complex, with deep-rooted historical tensions and geopolitical interests at play. Understanding the background can help us push for informed and effective solutions. Stay informed, stay engaged, and let's work together for a peaceful future. The involvement of the USA and Britain in the Ukraine conflict cannot be overlooked. From the beginning, these countries have pushed Ukraine towards a confrontational stance against Russia. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson even went as far as to say, "Ukraine is our puppet state." This aggressive foreign policy has only escalated tensions and prolonged the conflict, making peace an even more distant dream. Additionally, the US Congress and British Parliament have frequently debated the extent of their involvement, with NATO also playing a significant role. Economic sanctions on Russia and the resulting energy crisis in Europe have further complicated the situation, leading to global protests against the war. Despite humanitarian aid efforts and international peace talks, the path to a peaceful resolution remains fraught with challenges. Russia's rapid advancements. Since the war began, Russia has made significant territorial gains. From Crimea to the Donbas region, Russian forces have steadily advanced, capturing key cities and strategic locations. The speed and efficiency of their military operations have left Ukraine struggling to defend its borders. As of now, Russia controls a substantial portion of eastern Ukraine, and their influence continues to grow. The international community watches with bated breath, wondering how much further Russia will go. Economic sanctions have been imposed by several countries, aiming to cripple Russia's economy. Meanwhile, protests have erupted worldwide, with people demanding an end to the conflict. Humanitarian aid is being rushed to the affected areas, but the crisis has displaced millions, creating a dire refugee situation. The European Union has been holding peace talks with Ukraine, but notably, Russia has been absent from these discussions. How can genuine peace talks occur without involving one of the primary parties in the conflict? The media often portrays these talks as significant steps towards peace, but the reality is far from it. Without Russia at the table, these talks are more about optics than substance. It's a show for the cameras, a way to appear proactive while avoiding the hard truths. True peace will require all parties to come together, not just those who are convenient to include. History has shown that successful peace negotiations involve direct engagement with all stakeholders. Experts argue that excluding key players only prolongs the conflict and undermines the peace process. Meanwhile, the people of Ukraine continue to suffer, caught in the crossfire of a geopolitical struggle. Humanitarian efforts are crucial, but they are not a substitute for genuine peace. Only through inclusive and sincere negotiations can a lasting peace be achieved. If peace is not achieved soon, the conflict in Ukraine could slowly spread closer to Europe, posing a real danger. The instability in the region could lead to a broader conflict, drawing in neighboring countries and escalating tensions across the continent. The stakes are high, and the need for genuine peace negotiations has never been more urgent. The longer this conflict drags on, the greater the risk of it spiraling into a larger, more devastating war. It's not just Ukraine's future at stake, but the stability and peace of the entire region. We are standing on the edge of a precipice, and the choices made now will determine the fate of millions. The world cannot afford to ignore the warning signs any longer. History has shown us the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and the importance of timely intervention. The humanitarian crisis is deepening, with millions displaced and in dire need of assistance. The economic impact is also significant, affecting not just Ukraine but the global economy, leading to increased inflation and economic instability. Additionally, the environmental toll of the conflict is severe, with widespread destruction of natural habitats and pollution. Despite the challenges, there is hope. International efforts and community resilience can pave the way for a brighter future. The global community must come together, united in the pursuit of lasting peace and stability for Ukraine and beyond. Europe has a crucial role to play in ending the conflict in Ukraine. By leveraging their diplomatic influence, European countries can push for genuine peace negotiations that include all parties, including Russia. Economic sanctions and political pressure can be used to bring Russia to the table. Additionally, Europe can provide humanitarian aid and support to Ukraine, helping to rebuild and stabilize the region. The path to peace is complex, but with coordinated efforts and a commitment to dialogue, Europe can help pave the way for a lasting resolution. The European Union has already taken significant steps, such as imposing sanctions and providing financial aid to Ukraine. Continued collaboration and a unified stance among European nations are essential for maintaining pressure on Russia and supporting Ukraine's sovereignty. Public support within Europe also plays a vital role, as citizens rally for peace and show solidarity with Ukraine. The drone revolution. Russia's drones have become a game changer in the ongoing conflict. With advancements in technology, these drones have become more efficient, stealthy, and lethal. One of the most significant developments is the integration of optical fiber technology. This allows for faster and more secure communication between drones and their operators, making them harder to intercept and disable. The question arises, is this new technology unbeatable? While it certainly provides a significant advantage, it is not without its vulnerabilities. Counter-drone technologies are being developed worldwide, aiming to neutralize this threat. The cat-and-mouse game of technological advancements continues, adding another layer of complexity to an already intricate conflict. As both sides adapt and innovate, the role of drones will undoubtedly shape the future of warfare. Another emerging trend is the use of drone swarms, where multiple drones operate in coordination to overwhelm defenses. Artificial intelligence is also playing a crucial role, enabling drones to perform autonomous missions with minimal human intervention. Beyond combat, drones are being used for logistics, delivering supplies, and even medical aid in conflict zones. However, the rise of drone warfare also brings ethical concerns and debates on international regulations. As technology evolves, the capabilities of drones will continue to expand, making them a pivotal element in modern warfare. In the face of mounting international sanctions, Russia has demonstrated remarkable resilience and ingenuity. Despite the tightening noose of economic restrictions, it has managed to find ways to circumvent these barriers. One key strategy has been the diversification of its trading partners, forging new alliances and strengthening old ones with countries less influenced by Western policies. This geopolitical maneuvering has allowed Russia to maintain a flow of essential goods and services. A significant part of Russia's strategy involves moving away from reliance on the US dollar. By reducing its dollar reserves and increasing its holdings of other currencies and gold, Russia has lessened the impact of dollar-based sanctions. Furthermore, it has been promoting the use of its own currency, the ruble, in international trade. This shift not only bolsters the ruble's stability, but also asserts Russia's economic sovereignty. Another innovative approach has been the establishment of alternative financial systems. Russia has developed its own national payment system, MIR, and has been working on integrating it with other countries' systems. This reduces its dependence on international networks like SWIFT, which can be influenced by sanctions. Through these multifaceted strategies, Russia continues to navigate the complex landscape of international sanctions, maintaining its economic stability and sovereignty. The effectiveness and long-term sustainability of these measures remain to be seen, but for now, Russia stands resilient. As the global economic dynamics shift, the world watches closely to see how these strategies will unfold. Additionally, Russia has been investing heavily in its technology sector, aiming to boost innovation and reduce dependency on foreign tech. Efforts are also being made to diversify its energy sources, with a focus on renewable energy projects to ensure long-term sustainability. Furthermore, the government is prioritizing education and research, fostering a new generation of skilled professionals to drive future growth. On the diplomatic front, Russia continues to engage in international summits and negotiations, seeking to build a more favorable geopolitical environment. As global economic trends evolve, Russia's multifaceted approach aims to secure its place in the international arena, balancing resilience with strategic growth. As the conflict in Ukraine drags on, the international community looks to major global players for solutions. One nation that holds significant potential to influence the course of events is China. With its growing diplomatic clout and economic power, China could play a pivotal role in bringing an end to the hostilities. China's approach to international diplomacy has always emphasized non-interference and peaceful resolution of disputes. Leveraging this stance, China has the capacity to mediate between conflicting parties. By offering its good offices and facilitating dialogue, China can help bridge the gap between Ukraine and Russia, fostering a platform for constructive negotiations. Economically, China wields substantial influence. As one of the world's largest economies, it can exert pressure through trade relations and economic incentives. By offering economic aid and development projects to Ukraine, China can bolster the country's stability, making it less vulnerable to external pressures. Simultaneously, China can incentivize Russia to de-escalate by leveraging their economic partnerships. Moreover, China's involvement in peacekeeping efforts cannot be overlooked. As a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, China has the authority to push for resolutions that promote peace and stability. By participating in or supporting international peacekeeping missions, China can contribute to the stabilization of conflict zones and the protection of civilians. China's Belt and Road Initiative also presents a unique opportunity. By integrating Ukraine into this extensive economic development plan, China can help rebuild the war-torn nation, fostering long-term peace through economic prosperity. This integration can also serve as a deterrent to further aggression, as economic interdependence often leads to greater geopolitical stability. While China's involvement in the Ukraine conflict is complex and multifaceted, its potential to contribute to a peaceful resolution is undeniable. Through diplomatic mediation, economic influence, and support for international peacekeeping, China can play a crucial role in ending the war and fostering a lasting peace in the region. As the world watches closely, the hope is that China's actions will pave the way for a brighter, more peaceful future for Ukraine and its people. As the world grapples with the ongoing Ukraine conflict, another unexpected player has emerged on the scene: North Korea. The relationship between North Korea and Russia has deep historical roots, and recent developments have brought this alliance into sharper focus, raising questions about what it means for the war in Ukraine. Historically, North Korea and Russia have shared a complex and often strategic relationship. During the Cold War, North Korea was heavily supported by the Soviet Union, receiving military aid, economic assistance, and political backing. This alliance was crucial for North Korea's survival and its ability to maintain a strong military presence on the Korean peninsula. Fast forward to the present, and the ties between Pyongyang and Moscow remain significant. In recent years, North Korea has sought to strengthen its relationship with Russia as a counterbalance to international sanctions and diplomatic isolation. This renewed partnership has seen increased diplomatic exchanges, economic cooperation, and even military collaboration. In the context of the Ukraine conflict, North Korea's involvement has primarily manifested through its support for Russia's actions. Pyongyang has publicly backed Russia's stance on the conflict, framing it as a legitimate response to Western aggression. This support is not merely rhetorical. There have been reports of North Korea providing limited military assistance and sharing intelligence with Russia. The implications of this relationship are multifaceted. For Russia, North Korea represents a valuable ally that can offer support and legitimacy on the international stage. This partnership also allows Russia to circumvent some of the economic and military restrictions imposed by Western nations. Conversely, for North Korea, aligning with Russia provides a lifeline for its struggling economy and an opportunity to assert itself in global geopolitics. Recent developments have further solidified this alliance. In 2022, North Korea conducted a series of missile tests that coincided with key moments in the Ukraine conflict, signaling its willingness to support Russia's strategic objectives. Additionally, high-level meetings between Russian and North Korean officials have underscored the deepening ties between the two nations. The involvement of North Korea in the Ukraine conflict adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate geopolitical landscape. It highlights the interconnected nature of global alliances and the far-reaching impact of regional conflicts. As the situation continues to evolve, the relationship between North Korea and Russia will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping the future of the Ukraine conflict. As we examine these developments, it becomes clear that the Ukraine conflict is not just a regional issue, but a global one, drawing in nations from across the world and reshaping international relations in profound ways.